In today's video, you will learn 5 key things about the new Class MA permitted development and how Ewer successfully achieved his. Why you also need to use the services of a specialist planning consultant with the new prior approvals.
Hey, planning permission! Class MA!
Stay tuned to the end of today's video because we will share with you a number of tips on how you can maximize the future potential of your site after a permitted development application. Welcome everybody to today's planning update with the phenomenal Linda Wright, and we have Ewer Gao with us as well. And today is all about a success story from Ewer, who has just received planning approval for not one but 2 applications that Linda has submitted. So before we go on, can we just find out who Ewer is, where you're from, Ewer, and tell us a little bit about the Ewer story.
Right, hello Andrew, hello Linda. We have got it! High five over the air! I was so thrilled when I found out I'm one of the first developers in the country who received the PD approval on Class MA last week.
Well, congratulations.
That's great news.
Class MA, that's the new permitted development, but let's help people with who is Ewer, because I'm listening to your accent, Ewer, and you're not local to the area where the property came from. Where were you?
Not exactly. Please allow me to share my story with you.
Yes, please do. Please do.
For people who don't know me or haven't met with me yet, my name is Yue Guo. I come from Beijing, China originally, and I've been living in Coventry for nearly 16 years now. So I have a pretty busy day job to do, and in my spare time I invest in properties as my hobby. Over the last 10 years I have been investing in residential properties and as a residential landlord with my small portfolio in and around Coventry. But during the pandemic, I spent loads of time watching some of the YouTube channels all about commercial property development and also commercial to resi conversion development, including your channel, Andrew, and also Rajan's channel. So I've learned a lot. Early this year, I decided to take time to commit into the commercial to resi development. So I'm currently enrolled in the mastermind program. So that's where my commercial property development journey started.
So you're a successful residential landlord. You've been watching YouTube during lockdown and gone, this commercial to residential lark sounds interesting. Now, a Class MA planning application or a permitted development application, for those out there who are going, what's that mean in English? It's a prior approval application to convert a commercial premises to residential. So we've got Linda here with us who put the application in, but tell me, how did you come across Linda and what made you choose Linda?
It was actually came through the recommendations through my mastermind program, because all those PD or permitted development, all those terms were absolutely new to me. So I spent quite a bit of time to find out what those mean, especially from the developer's perspective. And I realized there's loads of the work behind the scene. It's really difficult for myself to tackle all of those processes. So I asked the question and also asked for the competent person or the contact who I should be working with in order to receive the approval to carry out my development. So Linda's name and the contact details came through the mastermind program through the recommendation. And I was fortunate enough to be able to get a hold of Linda to have that conversation to kick off my journey.
Well, fantastic. So you found Linda through recommendation. Did you watch any of the YouTube videos that Linda's done on the topics of Class G and Class MA, or?
Well, the first time I saw Linda was the time when she was talking with you in her spaceship. Welcome back to Earth, Linda.
Thank you.
Actually learned quite a lot from your videos, and to be honest, I'm still trying to get my head around and trying to digest what those terms means, and also the process, how it can have some impact to the developer. But for now, I think I have learned sufficient level of knowledge in order to have a meaningful conversation with my planning office, a planning consultant like Linda. So I hope I will start asking less and less silly questions to make our engagement more meaningful, more productive for the future projects.
Excellent. Well, let me ask a very brief question, then we'll bring Linda in. Do you want to explain from your perspective as the developer what the project is and what your goal was? And then we'll get Linda in to talk about how she went about this and some of the challenges that she's had along the way.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm really new to the commercial to residential development. So I was literally searching on the night for my very first project. So my objective was quite simple: find a commercial property which I can apply PD rules to convert the property either partially or entirely into the residential property. And during the process, I can learn all the process knowledge regarding the commercial to resi development. I can start get to know the team which I need to work with on my journey of the commercial property development, and also learn to work with the relevant people, including the planning consultant, planning officer, commercial agent, etc., etc. So that's a very important learning exercise to me. So I wasn't looking for anything big, major in terms of the size of the site. So as long as it ticks all the boxes, if it is a fairly straightforward project, then it meets my criteria. That's how I come to find this particular project we're going to talk about. As a matter of fact, I purchased a residential property from the same commercial agent early in the year. So I was browsing on their website to look at all the latest properties they put on the market, including in both residential and the commercial ones. So this one sits in the corner position. I came into my eyesight, and so I'm thinking that looks interesting. Let me pick up the phone, speak to the commercial agent. Let's find out a bit more about that property. Through the very brief telephone conversation, they mentioned there's a commercial space on the ground floor which be operated by the vendor who is the owner and occupier, and also there's an accommodation space on the upper floor. On top of that, they mentioned in the existing accommodation, there's a 2-bedroom flat with 2 sitting rooms. And also the occupier has applied for the planning to develop roof space with extra dormer to be added on. So what those messages telling me is there's a potential. But for myself, I have to put my hands up to say, I don't have all the knowledge needed to fully realize those potential. The next thing I did was to find out who I can work with to help me to go through that journey, that process, to fully realize the potential of that particular property. So that's the reason I got in touch with Linda.
Oh, perfect. Well, that's a really important point that you've made there, Yua. Although we all know a little bit about a lot of things, it's really important to bring experts in to help you to maximize the potential. Now, it could be an accountant to advise you the correct tax structure for the deal. It could be, in this case, a planning consultant to help you maximize the value from that site. So, Linda, congratulations is due to you, because Class MA, you are now one of the very first planning consultants in the UK to have secured a Class MA planning permission. Now, for our viewers, do you want to just sort of remind them what a Class MA planning permission is briefly, and then we can go into the specifics of this site and some of the challenges that you've faced with the planners?
Right, where do we start? Right, what is Class MA? I'm so pleased for you. This has gone really well. We had a bit of a hiccup at one point that it could have gone differently, but it's all worked out well, so I'm pleased about that. So yeah, it is one of the first Class MAs. Now, I know there's lots of people watch these videos and lots of people doing big developments. This is not the biggest Class MA that you're ever going to see, but it's one of the first ones. It's the one that Ewer is starting with, and he's doing the right thing. He's not going to go in and try and do 100 flats in Debenhams or something like that. So this, I think, is perfect and it works. Class MA it's now, I suppose, replaced the old Class MO, which was prior approval for office to residential. This is now Class E, commercial business and service to Class C3 residential. So it kind of replaces Class MO, but it does an awful lot of other stuff as well. There's a lot more restrictions on this, even though it's still a prior approval application. And it's in order to assist people to convert commercial premises to residential. That's where we're up to.
Brilliant. Well, I know before we started recording this interview, I was looking over the plans for this particular site, and you'd had to go into where the cars were going to park, because as part of Class MA, there's a transport policy. You'd had to highlight where the bins are, because that's part of waste management policy. So I'm looking at this and I'm sort of saying to myself, oh, you know, this is a bit more challenging than usual.
Well, it's not actually. This is what, because you're, as you've heard, found me, came to me and said, right, this is what I want to do. This is the property. And as he said, it's a corner shop. It was previously a florist all the way. It's long and narrow, but it's got windows. So the natural levels of daylight into habitable rooms had a big tick in that box. It does have some car parking, but there was a strategy with this as well. And what we first did, because you obviously knew a bit about this, because he's obviously doing some training around this, the strategy was to use, before it changed, the full permitted development, to use Class G to put 2 flats in the upper floor. So what I did was applied for the certificate of lawfulness before we did anything else with the MA, applied for a certificate of lawfulness to prove that the 2 flats at the upper floors complied with the permitted development rights, and that came out first. So we got certificate of lawfulness for 2 flats at the upper floors. So the Class MA application that we submitted, the Class M for a single residential flat at the back of the property, although it has lots of, as I've said, lots of lovely windows for natural daylight, and creating a much smaller shop front. This is in a parade of shops. So if you'd started converting all of that, you could do, if you started converting all of that to residential, then you're from commercial to residential, then you're into having to put in a separate planning application to change how to remove the shop front and put in a domestic frontage. So that would have, that may be something that Ewer wants to do in the future, because we have on the drawings, because PLANITWRIGHT do the drawings for all of these things. My guys go out and do the surveys. Ewer's met Jeff, who does the drawings. We think quite cleverly, left the shop at 37 square meters. Now, those of you in the know will know that that's the minimum size for the nationally described space standards. So at some point in the future, a new Class MA application could be submitted to convert that frontage. But for the time being, it was ground floor, side and rear, and it's a small, minimum, complies with minimum space standards. There is car parking at the front. It's an unusual site in that you can park cars. However, because of the fact that one of the issues that can be considered by the council is transport and highways, the highway engineers for the council, Coventry in this case, came back and said, we don't think that parking quite works. What they were doing was they were including parking for the retail space, parking for the single flat at the ground floor, but also they were lumping in the parking for the 2 flats at the top. Now that was a bit naughty, to be honest, because the 2 flats at the top were permitted development. So yeah, pushing it a bit. But I thought, do you know what? I've got lots of these contacts, and it's probably one of the benefits of using a professional, not just a planning consultant, an architect, or any kind of a professional. I've got lots of contacts that I can use for all sorts of things: noise, light, you know, tree surveys. In this instance, we contacted Stephen Flack of Egg Transport. Hello, Stephen. Sorry, I didn't tag you in the social media, but I'm bigging you up now. So Stephen came along. The highway engineers at the council asked for a swept path analysis. Talk about exceeding your remit. It was a bit OTT, quite frankly. But we thought, no, all right, if that's what, and Stephen did a very reasonable fee quote. If that's what you want, and he did drawings with, and the swept path analysis is movement and reversing and 3-point turns, if you like, and it all has to be put on a drawing. Stephen did that. We got that sorted out. They came back and said, oh, we don't think you can get out of that car parking space, or that bit is hanging over your, oh, for goodness sake. So we did yet another drawing, sent that to the council. But these are the areas where a planning application, if you've not got someone to look after this and make sure it all moves forward, they can easily fall down. So eventually we got the final drawings in, and the council have sent us a Class MA prior approval just for the 1 flat downstairs and the reduction in the floor space of the shop. But it now gives you the 2 flats at the upper floor, certificate of lawfulness, 1 flat at the ground floor, and then the 37 square meter retail element at the front with separate front door and side door. And there's also a WC going in there as well. And I think we're going to put all of the drawings and the block plan and the photographs of the property so that our viewers can have a look at what was being done.
Well, I think that's a really smart deal, Ewa, and a really smashing planning application, Linda, as well. And if I can pick up for the benefit of our viewers, some of the key smarts that I'm seeing coming here. You've used the Class G to take the pressure off the development on the site on the uppers.
Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting, but we just need to make sure we submitted this for the certificate of lawfulness when it was permitted development. It is now no longer permitted development for Class G for 2 flats. You have to submit a prior approval application. So that has the planning legislation, the regulations have moved on slightly. So I don't want viewers to get the idea that they can come to me for a certificate of lawfulness. You can't. It's now a prior approval application.
Really good point there, Linda. This was predating the 1st of August. Now, what I think is smart is you were tactically doing this, albeit that you could do the whole lot under a Class MA.
Yep.
Perfectly feasible because the space limit is 1,500 square meters. You've created 3 flats at national minimum space standard, 37 square meters apiece. You've also very smartly left 37 square meters in the shop for future potential. If this doesn't let as a commercial and after 90 days of it being vacant, you are so decided, he could then go back and convert to another flat. So I think that's quite smart there that Ewa has sort of got himself a swinging door to go commercial or residential.
I have to say, that's all down to Ewa and Jeff, who did my drawings. So, you know, a big up to them. I just look at drawings and see whether they will work. So they decided that between them, but good strategy.
Absolutely. And I think the other important point to tease out of this is for those people who used to submit their own Class Gs, Class M applications or Class O applications, the new rules are so much more complicated.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at your transport documentation and the swept paths, and I'm thinking there is no way on God's green that I could even respond to that. Planning under prior approval has got that little bit more complicated now. And in order to be successful first time, you do need to hire relevant professionals with experience in this.
Yeah.
And I know we've been talking about some conservation projects, some projects which are in all sorts of criterion that you need to do specialist reports, a flood report and transport and highways, bins, conservation. All of this is really important stuff now and been elevated in the new permitted developments. So I would urge, if you're out there, to connect with Linda. Her LinkedIn details are below. Ewer, would you have done this on your own?
Definitely not. No.
Has Linda proven to be a valuable resource into your power team now?
Definitely. I would call this as the beginning of the first step of the very exciting journey. So I look forward to work on more projects with Linda in the very near future.
Fabulous, fabulous. We'll get your other one over the line and then we'll talk about the next ones.
Yeah, well, what I'm privy to, and I shan't give details of it, Ewer, but Linda and Ewer are working on another project together. So I think they're going for like a royal flush of
oh no, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Not yet. This is a slightly different one, and there are a number of other issues with it.
Complexities.
I'm holding my breath for that one and keeping everything crossed.
Yeah. I wondered why you'd gone red today, Linda.
Oh, you know I'm always red, darling.
But I think that is a really great example of a Class MA. It might be a small one, but it doesn't matter whether it's small or whether it's 100 flats. The process is identical. Yeah. The criterion are identical. And what Ewer has done is worked diligently. He's brought a real expert in this field into his team. And Linda, you have done a brilliant job. I mean, I followed this one over the last couple of, well, it's you got your permission in less than 56 days. So I've sort of been watching this and going, yeah, this is smart over the last couple of months. So congratulations to both of you. I'm really over the moon.
Fabulous.
Really
bring on the next one.
What has really helped in this particular project is not only Linda's expertise and also her professional capacity. It's also about her contact, the people she can manage to reach in order to help me to go through the process, to provide all the additional information and to go through everything that the planning officer has asked for. There's no chance I can find those professionals by myself.
Yeah, and you've done it within all of the time constraints as well. So congratulations. Linda, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say that the second project that we hopefully will be doing another one of these videos on, that required another professional, because like you, I'm just a humble planner. I can't do swept path analysis. I'm not going to start doing that. And I can do some heritage stuff. I can do, I can cobble together, but I'm not going to do flood risk assessment. I'm not going to do land contamination. So you have to have this sort of virtual circle of people that you know and trust and have worked with before. Noise and daylight issues are going to be big issues for the prior approvals coming forward. So looking at additional consultants to do that kind of work as well. So, and they have to do it in a timely manner, and it has to be the right report for the project.
Yeah,
so we would get your approval.
We were discussing this before we came on camera earlier today about a project which I've got, which somebody had submitted. It was rejected by the planners for schoolboy errors, as I call it, applying for things they shouldn't and couldn't do under a PD, but we're trying to force it. The planners said no. And as a result, they've upset the planners, and the planners have challenged things like sound reports and other stuff, which again, haven't been done, in my opinion, to the standard they need to be done. So watch this space. Linda is going to be driving forwards with some more exciting new projects to share with you soon.
Good.
Ewa, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your project. It's truly appreciated. The audience will love to give you that big thumbs up. They'll drop you some comments and say to you, hey, you know, tell me more about what you do, Ewa. Where do you invest and what's all your strategies? So connect with Ewa via the video, drop in your comments below. And a double thumbs up for Linda, because Linda deserves a double thumbs up for her success in being what I believe is one of the very first planning consultants to get a Class MA approval. Congratulations, Linda.
You're going to get loads of emails now, Andrew, from planning consultants saying, "Hang on a minute, I got this last week and I got that," and I don't think.
Well, I tell you what, don't email me. Drop your comment of the details below of your Class MA, and we might get you on and do a video looking at the intricacies of what you had to do if you're a planning consultant that's had a Class MA before Linda has. So I look forward to hearing from all planning consultants in the land. And by the way, Linda's a bit of a jealous one as well, for those of you out there.
How could you be unfaithful to me, Andrew? I'm hurt. So thank you, Ewa. A pleasure working with you. We've not finished yet, so onwards and upwards.
Thank you, Linda. It's only a beginning of an amazing journey. Look forward to working with you for more projects, definitely.
Good, good. So do I. Thank you.
Andrew, thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure. And I will certainly keep you updated with my future adventures.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to seeing you in our regular training sessions and monitoring the progress of this project, and also perhaps coming down to site when you're ready to break ground, and we will do a site interview as well, a walk around with you.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Super. So if you're not already a subscriber, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be one of the first to hear of the breaking news stories that we release on this channel. And if you haven't already, give a thumbs up to Ewa and to Linda for this brilliant, successful project, of which they had many hurdles to overcome and implemented a lot of smart moves within this to give flexible options for the future. It's goodbye from me, Andrew Roberts.
And it's goodbye from me, Linda Wright. And if you have any questions about Class MA, by all means, stick them on here and we'll see if we can answer them for you. Thank you.
Goodbye from me. My name is Xue Guo. Good luck with all your projects.